What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make guitar style beats for Gunna. I'm going to give you a very basic formula on how to make these beats. They're not really that complicated, but after watching this video, regardless of your skill level, you should know exactly how to make these types of beats, and this can kind of be your go-to formula in order to make them. So to get started here, I'm going to use a BPM of 120. First thing I'm going to show you guys is how to create guitar melodies for these types of beats. Got this point guitar from my one-shot kit DaVinci. A lot of you guys probably already know about DaVinci. It's definitely one of my best-selling items and one of the things that I get a lot of really great feedback on. So definitely check that out if you need sounds, whether it's guitars, pianos, synths, etc. Really something for any type of beat in there. We're just gonna build a minor chord. So I'm gonna start with just F minor right here, should be fine. Then what you need to do, because if I was playing this real guitar right here that I definitely know how to play, then you'll notice when I go down and strum it, I'm not hitting all of these notes at the exact same time. Instead, what's happening is I'm hitting the first string first, then the second, then the third, then the fourth, and then the fifth. And so when you're making your guitar melodies, if you want them to sound realistic, you need to make sure you're strumming them as well. You're gonna strum from the bottom note up, and we're just gonna move this like this. Then I'm gonna add another note on top. Technically, these notes are hitting each other at the same time there, but, this is still MIDI, so we can kind of do what we want to do. So now I'm just going to copy this over, and you have a few options. One thing you could do is just drop this down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another option is you could just move this down a couple, like the bottom note. So I think that sounds pretty good. And let's change up some notes here. Something like that sounds good. And then we'll just duplicate this right over here. And I'll add a couple notes, I think like over here, just so there's a little bit of variation. And if you look at like this last note that has like the kind of change up, it's just the same note, almost in the same place. Then I would just randomize it, Control R to mess with the velocities. Next, I want the guitar to sound a little bit more dreamy, so I've got this other guitar sound right here, and I'm just gonna layer it over the other one. The next thing that I wanted to add is just a nice little texture. So this is just some kids playing that I found on Splice. You can literally go outside and record anything. Next, I've got this sound called Eternal Dreams in Arcade. And this is just the option where you can play everything as a note. So now I want to make like another texture layer. So what I did is I just copied this and turn it into audio file, which all you have to do is select all, go to Alt Control C, and then click Start. Then just reverse your sound right here. And now I'm just gonna chop it up like this. And then bring it this way. The reason I did that is because when you reverse it, technically this part would be at the start. And so I just had to cut it up and put the start right over here. Now, let's hear how it sounds. Probably not gonna sound very good together right now. So that doesn't sound good, so let's just take out first of all of these right here. And then I like to play with the volume automation. And let's just try something like this. Maybe do something like this instead. Yeah, like that. So next we have the drums, and the drums are really simple. I'm gonna show you guys how you can make it so they're not actually like boring, because you know you want to keep everything interesting in your beat, even if it is really simple. And I'm gonna be using my drum kit Graffiti here. It's really been my go-to drum kit lately, as it's really just drag and drop. I already put all the effects that you need on it, so if you don't have access to effects and you still want your drums to knock, or you just don't feel like putting on like 2 or 3 effects on your drums every time you use them, then this is a great drum kit for you. So this is really simple. All I did right there is I went up to 1/3 step right here, and then all of those notes are just on the scale, which just adds a cool effect. All right, so now on to the 808. I'm using the Go 808 from my kit. It's a really big, heavy 808. And you really want to just keep the pattern really simple, as Gunna's super melodic, so you don't want to add like a bunch of crazy rolls or anything. And if you do want to add any rolls, you're going to want to add it towards the end. So let's just add this real quick. I don't know if I love that ending. I was just trying to be creative. But this is where you want to like add like a little change. And it's always great when your like first 4 bars are like slightly different from your last 4 on an 8-bar loop like this. I ended up just putting this kick right here. And you don't want your kick hitting on the same spots as the 808, as it's going to create more bounce when it isn't. So if you look right here it's hitting on the same spot as this 808 over here. But then right here it's not. And then it's hitting on the 808, and then not again, and it just adds like a nice amount of bounce. Then to keep it a little interesting, you can add perks. And if you're gonna add a perk, these little pockets like right here, just kind of like every little third. There's a lot of great pockets in there that you can add them. And then if you want to add an open hat at the beginning is a good spot, because it kind of like resets the loop if it's just right there. But I also like putting it right over here. Usually sounds pretty good. So here's how that sounds. Beats like this are really easy to arrange. You want just a short intro. I wouldn't go past 8 bars right here. Cut all the drums out. Move a guitar sound. Remove that. I'm removing the arcade because it's going to come in as part of the second part of the hook to keep it interesting. I think I'll leave the drums in here. It should sound pretty good. Maybe take that out. Leave that in. Take that out. Maybe have the clap still playing. Take that out right there. Maybe take this guitar out right before it drops for a little bit.
Dylan XO.